Hey everybody, and welcome back to Super Comic Fun Time. It is November 25th, 2018, and this is the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, the last day of it. And on the Friday, what do we call that? Black Friday, I was at Half Price Books, and I found these three in their comics bin there, the one they have to unlock for you. So they were having like something like a 20% off sale, so I decided to pick these up. I don't know if I overpaid or not. I never really, judging by Amazon, I saw like the first episode, issue 48 on sale there for like $3.50, but then you had to pay another $3.50 or so in shipping, so it came out to about the same price. Anyways, my skills at getting good deals aside for now, I have heard about this for a long time, and I have also watched the back issues episode of this. That's on Comic Pop. You should check out their channel. They do a lot of great things. And I was always curious about it because back before my first unofficial comeback into comic books after The Dark Knight Rises, I also bought the Death of Superman books. And I think now they have them all in one big issue. You can see I got that at HPB as well as this. I haven't taken the labels off yet. I think I will after these videos. So essentially, Emerald Twilight starts with the death of Superman, and what happens is Superman dies, as you all probably know. And his death, first of all, it makes everybody sad. World Without Superman is a lot of sadness, but it also has a lot of cool stuff in there because this kind of cult springs up around Superman, and then there's all kinds of things with his body disappearing and stuff like that. But it also leaves a power vacuum, and in that power vacuum, we end up with 4 Supermen coming out of it. This is John Henry Irons, also known as Steel, and there's a movie with that basketball player Shaq where he plays Steel, and it's kind of bad, but he looks like he's having fun doing it. Then you have this Superman who's kind of I don't know, he wears glasses and he's very vindictive. He kills people. Then you have Superboy, who's sort of a clone of Superman. And then you have Cyborg Superman. So what happens, skipping most of it, getting to our Emerald Twilight, is this power vacuum causes this guy, and this is the guy who brought Superman the gift in the classic story by Ellen Moore for The Man Who Has Everything. And I'm vamping a little because I don't really remember his name, but it doesn't matter. He's kind of like some guy who looks like Darkseid, but what he wants to do is make the Earth into like this giant war planet that you can drive around the universe. And so one of the places he attacks first is Hal Jordan's home of Coast City. Now, probably I should have read some of this, but yeah, there's his name, Mongol. He gave Superman that plant that gave him that dream of being on Krypton. And so Coast City gets pretty much destroyed. And this is where our story will pick up. I'm just flipping through because I think there's a... here's Superman. After he comes back to life, he wears black and he has a mullet. And this is Supergirl. She's not really Supergirl. It took me a long time to figure out who she is when I came back. And I think I even posted a question onto Rob Explain's site asking why Supergirl is a shapeshifter. So yeah, anyway, she's a shapeshifter, but it's not really Supergirl. I guess it's a entity named Matrix. I still don't know too much about it, but she takes the form of Supergirl for some reason because they killed Supergirl off way back in Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I was just flipping through. Look at that. Superman with guns. I don't remember this very well. I'll have to reread this one. I found, of these books, I found The Death of Superman to be okay, but I mean, it's just a lot of fighting. From my memory, I should probably reread it. The first story is probably the best because Superman is being interviewed Doomsday is coming to life. He's on TV, and the Justice League are having to handle him on his own. This one, the first few chapters of this one are kind of like everybody's sad. Lois Lane is sad. The Kents are sad because Superman is dead. But then it kind of gets better with the cult that springs up around Superman, and his body disappearing. And so so they're still fighting. I guess Green Lantern is in here fighting too. See, then we have to help him. Stand back, everybody. I'm taking us in. So I haven't read this in a while. Look there's Cyborg Superman. His face is mostly gone. That's kind of cool. And look, Superman is kind of like, I don't remember this. He looks like he's got a rash, and like most of his costume is gone. It's just really kind of weird. I don't remember it looking this weird. There's what I was looking for, is Hal Jordan gets injured and he makes a cast for himself out of his Green Lantern willpower. And so that's really good. So I guess this is the real Superman. I don't know who the Man in Black is. I'm sorry. Anyways, I just wanted to go there for some background. That's where this story comes from. So then, I don't know what happens in the Green Lantern before this. I don't know what issue 47 is. This starts with Hal Jordan being sad because his city is gone. Oh, look, Wayne's World too. And, the artwork throughout this series is really good. The story is really good. Look at this. Like, this is Coast City. This is what Mongol did to it. And I had to look at this twice because I'm like, where's Green Lantern? And he's just this little speck here. And, it's Coast City. So here's the coast. Trivia, it's like, what does it say? 12 miles in diameter, roughly. So Coast City was roughly a 12-mile circle. So, he gets... he's kind of sad, and so he starts using his ring to create, like, first he's got his father, and he's like, you never complimented me. And he goes, well, what did you accomplish? And he goes, look here, even like the city you're supposed to protect, you weren't here for it. So, he goes like, it's like, I just wanted you to be proud of me. I wanted so much just to hear you say it once. Good Lord, Hal. That was a long time. Just once! But you hardly knew I was alive. You were always putting Jack or Jim, or patting Jack or Jim on the back, telling them how great they were. Your brothers, they'd done things, had real accomplishments. You always had your head in the clouds. You were a space case. Is that what you thought of me? Well, why don't you take a look at what this space case turned into? You didn't give me one damn ounce of encouragement. I'm a hero now. No thanks to you. Do you have any idea the things I've done? Like what, Hal? Didn't do much to save Coast City, did you? So this is like really good. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I don't know, like Nightmare Before Christmas trading cards, and like, so he has this conversation with his dad, and his dad just walks away, gets into the plane that he dies in. And I guess one of the problems is Hal Jordan idolized his father, and his father ignored him, I guess. And so he sees the plane crash again, and then he just decides to, then he creates his mother, and he talks to his mother, and then he just creates all of Coast City again. And but this time everything is going to be perfect. He's going to be able to take care of everything. So he's clearly gone insane. But just look at this art. So I guess this was like a high school girlfriend who comforted him. And he's like, he admits to being a jerk. He is like, you were there for me when my dad died, and then I decided I didn't want to have a girlfriend, and I went off to college or whatever, and then she ended up getting married. But so that's the other thing. It's like, is it just his imagination? And then like these people have a cat stuck up in the tree. It's just weird. They're kind of walking. Those people aren't there. And he uses his ring to get the cat, and he gives it to this woman. And so, I don't even know if the cat was stuck in the tree. maybe the cat was fine and he just felt the need to rescue it. But then I guess this is the fire chief. I don't know exactly what's going on there. And so yeah, so here it's like, why did I screw it up? Hell, you don't need to. No, I need to do this. You practically stitched me back together, and a year later I said thanks by turning my back on you. I'm young. I want to see other people. What an idiot I was. And so yeah, so like all of his kind of like, you know, he's considered the greatest Green Lantern that ever was, I guess. Again, I never read these books at the time, and this is really my first 80s books or actually 90s books of the Green Lantern I've read. But so he goes through all of this, and then he comes to his dad. He's just about to get a compliment from his dad when who are they called again? The Watchers, the Seekers, the guys from Oa, which if you notice, like in the Bible, Jesus says, I am the Alpha and the Omega, and like on Oa, it's the Omega and the Alpha, so it's like the end to the beginning. I don't know. I just kind of noticed that while I was reading this. I don't know if it means anything. So anyway, but it does like, it's like just when Hal was going to have his moment. Maybe it would have helped him psychologically and he could have coped. The Guardians come and say, you're abusing your power, Hal Jordan. Report back to Oa and be punished. So he gets really, really angry, and this is where he really goes mad. He steals the power from the transmission, and he hatches a plan to go and destroy Oa. And so, yep, he's flying off into space. And then this couple here, they see like what they think is a shooting star, and he goes, oh, but it's going the wrong direction. But I don't know if you ever went out to look at shooting stars like the Leonids or what. You can't necessarily tell what direction they're going. They're just kind of green lights in the sky. So I kind of thought that was funny. It's like maybe somebody who never watched meteors would, you know, I mean, yeah, I just don't, I don't get it. But anyways, this is the guy, I think this is Kyle, and he's going to end up being the Green Lantern after Hal Jordan. This is kind of foreshadowing. Spoilers. So yeah, everything is spoilers. So that's that issue. It was a fantastic read, great story, really enjoyed it. Then you get to issue 49, and just look at this cover. I love this cover. You have Hal with a maniacal look on his face, and he's got all of these rings on. And in my mind, like, you know, I've read more Green Lantern from like the 2000s, like Rebirth, the Sinestro Corps War, Blackest Night, those sorts of stories. And to me, having a whole bunch of rings doesn't make sense, because I just assume it's like you've got your will and you channel the green energy through, you know, through the force of your will. And so if you have one ring, or to me, it just doesn't it seems like having more than one ring would disperse the power. Possibly two, like one for each hand. I don't know. But anyways, it's kind of cool that it works this way. And I just, you know, he looks like an insane fashion queen or something like that. Just look at my rings. Look at them. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. And yeah, all of the art, let's see, I should probably give credit for the artist, because I never do that. So like, here we go. Here's the writer is Ron Mars. Fred Haynes is the penciler. Then on this issue, you have Romeo Tanghal and Dennis Kramer as the inkers. Steve Madison is the colorist. And the colors in these issues are great, too. I just love it. Letterer, Eddie Berganza, and assistant editor. Oh, no, Eddie Berganza is the assistant editor. Yeah, this guy, Albert, was the letterer. That's why I don't read the credits. It's like, and then Kevin Dooley was the editor at the time. So yeah, so like, this issue is basically him going to Oa, and he just is kind of killing everybody along the way. At least that's what it looks like. I mean, look, this guy has green blood coming out of his mouth. This issue does have a lot of gore. Then you have the whatchamacallits, the OANs. I can't believe I just read this book and I can't remember their names. It's like that thing you get when you are doing a video. Like, I'm talking to you people and I'm seeing you in my mind as the audience. And so that projection is causing me to not remember that what these guys are called. Watchers, finders, something like that. So anyways, like they're all like seeing Hal Jordan coming, and I guess they ditched their emotions like millennia ago, and so they don't have much in the way of emotion, and they don't take action. They kind of just watch things and send the Green Lanterns in to be their actors. But I mean, look at this. This is kind of cool here. So like they're just trying to discuss the situation, and like you have to turn yourself in, Hal Jordan, and a lot of the people here that he's fighting, he's brought into the Corps, and then he just like he's kind of merciless and brutal as he takes them out. It's like, look at this guy, he's spitting blood or something, and just kind of hanging out in space, and Hal takes their rings. It's like, then here you got 1, 2, 3. Hal is just going to town, and then you got this person who's a warrior who he also brought into the Corps, and like look at that face. This, you know, these issues are pretty awesome. And so like, yeah, he just like this person says, what does she say? I am a warrior. The ring is my weapon. I've earned. It's as much a part of me as my hand. And he goes, yeah, I kind of thought so. So he cuts off her hand. It's weird. It's like really kind of violent. Again, this is around 94. And so then these guys are coming up, and you know, you kind of know there's like a narrator telling you the story, but you don't know who it is. And then you kind of realize, again, there's all spoilers here. This book is 20 years old, or is it older? 24 years old. You know, they're going to bring Sinestro back. That's the core of it. So then you got this guy who's like a big favorite. I don't necessarily know who he is. He says poozers a lot and stuff like that. Again, I've only read limited amounts of Hal Jordan, but I mean Green Lantern, but enough to know who that guy is. Like in theory, you know, he's like one of the big guys who's in every book. He's like one of the leaders and trainers and stuff like that. He leaves them bloody, and then like. And then they kind of agree that, yeah, I was going to look, there was like a place where the narrator almost gives himself away. So it's like, all of all the Green Lanterns, of all these protectors of the universe, it is their brightest, it is their brightest who turns rogue. I, for one, never thought it would come to this. Not that I'm complaining, of course. And so this is where, like, I was trying to think of who it is, even though I should have known because I watched the comic pop thing. But it, you know, when the Watchers say, like, you know, your plan, Ganthet, it's like really terrible, but I guess it's all we got, so let's go for it. So then I knew they were bringing Sinestro back, and there he is. He goes, "What's the matter, Jordan? Nothing to say to your old friend, Sinestro?" Because I guess he has to say his name just in case you don't know who he is. And that's true. It's like if I was reading this book for the first time, I wouldn't know who Sinestro is, so you kind of need that stuff. It kind of reminds me, we've been watching the Harry Potter movies again, and in the second one, like, you know, Harry ends up at the, you know, Ron Weasley's house, and they get all their letters for going to school, and the mom goes, "There's only one place to get all of this stuff, Diagon Alley," which it just seemed like, you know, I guess they needed a way to tell. Now this one, this is number 50. This one, okay, like back in the day, so this one was 150, 48 and 49 were 150. This one was nearly double the price at 259. The cover for this one is textured. It almost like, especially like the green. The green is, it's not quite felt. It feels like, you know, the scratch and sniff stuff, but I'm not going to scratch it and sniff it. So yeah, so the cover is a little different. It's a little bigger to celebrate the 50th episode. And I really like this. Like, you know, I did my video on Twitter this morning about some of my drawing, and I like this one. I might try to draw this one. It's like there he's got all his rings. And I think he's got more rings than that. It's just that you can only show and fit so many on your fingers. And so, yeah, so then you've got the fight with Sinestro. And you have some really good art again. I mean, everything has been very consistent throughout this. Yeah, I was just looking again. It's like I kind of remember his white fringe going around the back of his head, but that might be Superman from Crisis on Infinite Earths. So yeah, so Sinestro kind of goads him, and it's like saying, "You got all those rings." It's like, how do you know you're gonna beat me? It's like, and at this point, I don't know why. This is like one kind of flaw in the story. I think it's like Hal Jordan is so hell-bent on getting to Oa and destroying the Guardians. That's who they're called, the Guardians. And so, like, he lets his ego get involved here. He's, like, killed all of his companions. I guess he didn't really kill them, we find out later, but he's gone through the core, and he's going to stop here for some ego fight with Sinestro, he's already apparently defeated because Sinestro's been punished by putting him into the battery, which I don't know why that's punishment, but it is. So like, yeah, so this is kind of fun. It's like the Guardians here, this fight is going on, and the Guardians here kind of watching smugly, and as it goes on, you got these guys trading barbs, it's all very well, and then like they're still looking a little smug, but then we have like, fighting. This is all just fighting. And then it's like you got them doing this. This is what I was looking for. It's like, uh-oh, I don't think Sinestro's up to the task. And so, yeah, look at this. This is kind of cool. It's like, this almost reminds me of something from a karate movie or something. But I like kind of just how you see the shadows in the clouds there. And then Hal says, okay, now no rings. Let's just go mano a mano. And they start just punching the crap out of each other. And then it comes down to that. It's like, Sinestro at this point, he doesn't realize what he's dealing with. He doesn't know that Hal Jordan's gone evil. He cracks his neck. And then, yeah, you got the Guardians again. It's like, you just got all of this, and then the Guardians are like, oh my God, we failed. We're screwed. And then so Hal is about to take his prize, which I didn't quite understand. I still don't. It's like, I thought you needed the ring, so I thought he would at least need a ring, but, he takes his ring off, and, but first, you have this guy coming back, and they're fighting, and it's like, yeah, you killed Sinestro, but you're not evil like him yet. And he goes, you know what? I kind of am. And, he gets like one good punch, but then Hal just like, look at this, Hal kills him. It's like, you got the ribs, you've got the smoking ribs. I mean, these books are incredibly violent, but they're, yeah, look at that. He just like Star Wars. I kind of wondered how like Aunt Beru and Uncle Ben in Star Wars, like why they were just these burned out corpses coming out of their little hovel. I didn't understand why the stormtroopers needed to do that. But in this case, we see everything, so we know what's going on. And then, like, he throws away the ring, and he's going to go here. And then the Guardians' final plan is to give all their power to Ganthet, which, he kind of failed with his plan for reviving Sinestro. So I don't know why they think... Yeah, so it's like, and you... Ganthet are the one. It's like, who, me? And so then they like, again, I wasn't quite sure what was going on here, but they're just giving him all their power. And so then when, this I think is a pinup. I don't think this is part of the story. I mean, it could be. Then like he comes, it's confusing to me because see here you've got a credit here. So I was a little confused if this was part of the story, if it was supposed to be something, maybe it was like both. Maybe it's part of the story and you cut it out. But anyway, so he comes out and all of the Guardians are dead, and then he steps on the ring, and then Ganthet comes out from the rubble, from the deaths, and he picks up the ring and he reforms it, and then he turns into a big green of light, comes to Earth, and we don't know he's Kyle yet. Look, he's wearing a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt. They were one of my favorite bands back in '94 too, and And Ganthan gives him, first he sees this is a callback to the first issue, and he thinks, to me it doesn't look all that different from the first one. I guess it's getting closer, so like here, obviously it's going away, and here the head is coming into the earth more closely, so I guess that makes sense. And so he gives him the ring, doesn't really tell him what to do with it. It's just like, what am I supposed to do with this? What you must. What do you mean? What's supposed to happen? What must? Wait, don't. And then like that guy's gone. And that's pretty much the end of the story. So Hell goes bad, and like he does take. He doesn't look much different than Hal Jordan, except for not having the fringe, the gray fringe around his head. So yeah, that was Emerald Twilight. It's a fantastic story if you've never read it. Hopefully, I didn't spoil it for you. It was just a lot of fun. I went over it kind of fast, but if you can find this, and I know there's a collected edition, since this is only 3 issues, I think the collected edition might have more stories surrounding what's happening. I don't know for sure. But anyways, I was like really glad to find it, because, I do have like a collector portion of me. So, it came in the normal collector stuff. So I'm going to put these back away. And I'm going to close out for now. So, like, what's your favorite comic from the 90s? Were you reading The Death of Superman? Because I know I wasn't. I was like starting my career then, and I didn't really have time for comic books. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of Hal Jordan. And we will talk to you again soon. Super Comic Fun Time out.